Good afternoon. It is Friday, April 3rd, and we are back for our math lesson today. You're going to notice that I already actually got started. This is my second take. The video quit. I don't know what happened, but I had to delete it, so I'm starting over. So I was showing the work that Kasaira sent me through her. Her mom sent to me the work that she did from 2 days ago. Remember, yesterday we didn't do a math or writing lesson because I had that online training from the school district about Google Classroom, which a lot more information to come next week for that. So Kasaira, she did the activity that I sent, and her add-ins were 10 plus 7 to equal 17. Remember, we're working on making 10 because it makes it easier to add mentally. For 18, she did 10 plus 8, which is also correct. And then on the back, 19 equals 10 plus 9, right? And then the equation would still be the same because the sum is the same, right? So I just tried to trick you by moving the equals to the other side. So we would still have 10 plus 9, all right? So great job, Kasaira. Excellent, excellent. I'd like to say that Gianna did this also and sent it to me. Both Kasaira and Gianna did this and sent me their work, and this and sent me their work. So I decided I'd use Kasaira's answers to go over this sheet, and I'm going to look and use Gianna's answers now to go over the challenge. All right, so let me get to Gianna's portfolio. All right, so for the challenge, Gianna did and Kasaira both did like I did here for 17. And I noticed in their work that they both worked on trying to make matching equations too, like I did here, part of the commutative property. Okay, so for 18, Gianna did, making 10. She did 10 plus 8. Okay, she did 10 plus 8 is 18. And then she made a matching equation where she just switched the add-ins up and did 8 plus 10 equals 18. And then she also did 9 plus 9, which is a doubles fact, which equals 18. Okay? And then for 19, she did making 10. 10 plus 9 equals 19. She did 5 plus 14 equals 19. And then she did a matching equation, or a part of the commutative property for that, and she just switched her add-ins to do 14 plus 5 equals 19. So great job, Gianna. Great job, Kasaira. Thank you for sending me your work. I like to see what you've been doing. All right, for today, I put this in the Google Drive, all right, which even when we switch over to Google Classroom, I'm still going to have a Google Drive that you'll be able to access, except it'll be all like through the classroom. So when you go into the classroom, you'll actually see our Google Drive there, and you'll just be able to click on it to find all the links to everything. So, you can either print those activities or recreate them. I mean, in kindergarten, there's not going to be like a ton of directions on the page, or even a ton of writing on the page. So, I mean, you could just take a piece of paper at home and recreate the activity if you can't print it. Or, you can all, if you don't want to recreate it or you can't print it, you can sit next to your child and like talk about it with them, pause the videos, have them point to things on the screen and do it that way. Do the best you can, with what we have to work with right now. I had a parent reach out today and say, that they didn't have access to a printer. Totally fine. And please remember that none of this stuff is mandatory right now. It's not being graded. I'm just trying to create some activities for you guys to do to keep learning at home, so that you don't have to come up with the stuff on your own. If you can't print, you can recreate. You can pause the video, have the kids point to it, discuss it with them. So the activity that we're doing today, instead of using the tens frames right here, we're actually going to use this number grid. Now, when the kids get older, I know in second grade we use it because I used to be a second grade teacher. I'm not sure about first grade, but you're going to use like a hundreds number grid. So if you can't bring this up in the Google Drive. I think the picture might actually be sideways in the Google Drive, and I'm sorry about that. But you know what I did do is if you don't want to recreate this, or you can't use the one on the Google Drive, you can't print it, if you Google 0 to 20 or 1 to 20 number grid, you will get a ton of images that will come on that you can click on, and then you can like blow the screen up so that your child can have that on the screen to do this activity. If you're recreating this for your child, make sure that the numbers look exactly like this, because on a number grid, this is what they look like, and this is what we're going to use today in order to make patterns. Get my tape here. So we're going to look for patterns to find the parts of, numbers 11 through 20. So for today, and I'm doing 2 parts today, okay? So, and they're very similar. It's just, the first part does the numbers 11 to 15, and the second part does 16 to 19. So very, very similar, okay? So I'm just going to put both these up because there's not actually going to be a challenge today. Okay. So first we're going to look for patterns to find the parts of 11, 12, 13, and 14. So when I say look for patterns, you're looking for the patterns in this number grid, okay? So I've given a number here, which is 1. So if you're doing this at home with me, you can start by putting a 1 there. And then, again, if you have a sheet protector, you might want to put this in a sheet protector so that it can be reused. And then on sheet protectors, you can use dry erase markers, and that will erase right off of there. So I don't have any sheet protectors, and I also don't want to write all over this because I want to keep using it for the next couple of problems. So what I'm going to do instead, since I've been using magnets, is I'm going to use magnets to mark where my patterns are. I'm going to use these thin magnets here to be able to mark what I'm doing. So I'm starting at 1, okay? Starting here at 1, and I want to add 10, all right? I'm going to add 10, so I'm going to keep with that adding 10. So 1 plus 10, okay? Now I may be able to sit here and say, well, that's 11, right? I know that, but there's a reason that I want to show you on the number grid. So 1 plus 10. So if I count, even though I know the answer is 11, just humor me here and count with me. Ready? So plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So 1 plus 10 is 11, right? Okay. I'm going to leave these little markers here for now so that you can see this pattern I'm making. All right, now I have another one here. So 3. I'm going to add 10 again. Okay, so I'm going to add 10. Now you're probably saying, well, 3 plus 10 is 13. Some of you might have those 10 plus, numbers memorized by now. Great. But I want to show you on the number grid. So I'm going to use, let's see. I'll use a 3, and here are the 3s. Okay. So I'm starting on 3. Okay. Now I'm going to add 10. Again, you know it's 13. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 13. What do you notice so far when I add 10 each time? Think about it. I'm going to go down here. All right. Like I said, this was originally going to be in 2 parts, but I wasn't able to do a math lesson yesterday afternoon. So I'm kind of putting them together, which this lesson is 10-7. It was put together to begin with. I was just going to kind of separate it. But let's look. So obviously, our answer is going to be 16, 17, 18, or 19 because it says so here, right? So 7, let's add 10 plus 10. Okay. Maybe you know what it is. Maybe you don't. But I want us to use our number grid so that we can see the pattern. So I start at 7. Oops. Okay, start at 7. I'm going to add 10. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What do I get? 17. Oh, and I forgot to write the answer over here. 13, 17. So let me ask you, We have one more to do. If we add 10, if we start at 8 and add 10, what do you predict the answer will be using this number grid? Think about that for a minute while I find my next 2 magnets to use. All right. I don't seem to have 2 8s, so I'm going to use 2 9s instead. So I'm starting at 8, right? Okay, starting at 8. I'm going to add 10. Ready? 1, so I jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 8 plus 10 is 18. So what is the pattern that you notice every time you add 10 on a number grid? Well, every time you add 10 on a number grid, the answer is the number that's directly below the number you started. Okay? For instance, I could start anywhere. If I start at 6 and I add 10, I don't even have to count. 6 plus 10 is 16. 2 plus 10 is 12. 9 plus 10 is 19. 10 plus 10 is 20. And parents, this is why I said that if you do Google a number grid or if you do remake this, to make sure that it's set up this way. So as the kids get older in their Envision math program and they use this number grid, they will find patterns for adding 10 and other numbers also. All right, so you have to make sure that the numbers are lined up, starting with 1, ending with 10, 11 to 20, and then it would be 21 to 30, and so on. And if your child is finding that this is very simple for them and they've mastered this, then Google a number grid 0 to 100 and have them start counting all the way up through 100. Point to a number on the number grid and say, what number is this? What number is this? What number is this? So without them counting, they can just look at it and identify it, right? And then start having them use the number grid to add 10, right? So if you say, find number 37 on the number grid, and they find the number 37, all right, now add 10. They should go right down and say that 37 plus 10 is 47. So finding those patterns on the number grid will really help them to use it later on in future lessons and in future grades too. Okay, so for today, there are 2 assignments. I moved everything that was in the Thursday folder for math and writing into the Friday folder, for math rather. I guess there wasn't anything in there for writing. Since, I'm trying to keep the folders with the days that the lessons are posted, so to kind of help you out there. So there's 2 different activities, and notice it says use the number grid. So we're not using the tens frames anymore. I want you to use the number grid so that you can get used to seeing that pattern. And I was counting every time to 10. To add 10, you do not need to count every time, because I want you to know that wherever you are on this number grid, if you go down 1, you are adding 10. And the same can be true with subtracting 10. If I said, what's 16 minus 10? Minus 10, well, now I'm going to go backwards. So I would go up. So 16 minus 10 is 6, okay? So I want you to use this number grid to complete these activities. You're adding 10 every time, okay? You're adding 10 every time. So I give you a starting number. You are always adding 10, adding 10, adding 10, all right? Same with the other sheet, okay? Use your number grid. You are adding 10 every time, always adding 10. All right, so that is our lesson for today. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I'll see you in a bit for writing.